What can I do for you, Tony?
I'm here for the Civic.
The brake drums are shot, and you need a new transmission.
What? All I wanted was an oil change.
Well, you're lucky you caught these problems now before they cause you some serious trouble. Sign right here and press down hard.
There's no price.
There will be.
I don't have a car. I have to have a car tonight.
Hey, yo! Bring around the loaner.
The loner? The loner?
The Lona, Drew? The Lona?
The Lona.
Would you drive that Lona?
I think I would call a cab. Nobody forced him to drive that car. We have a car.
And I gotta tell you something. It's like this movie is about a maniac in a green mask, and like this scene was the most upsetting to me just because how badly he got screwed on his car bill.
He went in for an oil change.
Yeah, he went in for an oil change. He got a 5-year-old car. He's being sold a new transmission. I felt bad for him, man.
Is this the prime example of how much of a pushover this guy is? He gives his concert tickets to a coworker that he's trying to date, and she doesn't offer him a penny for them. She's taking her friend, and now he's getting screwed by these guys.
I think it's just the sign that I'm just too old now. That like these scenes really affect me like this. I can relate, buddy. I can relate, Stanley.
It's just a bad business deal. Have you
shop around?
Have you been in that scenario before?
Oh yeah, hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. You take my business elsewhere, buddy.
Welcome back. This is episode 109 of the Last Row Podcast. If you are new to the show, check out our website, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook.com/The Last Row Pod. Head out to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as they call it these days, Spotify, Podchaser. If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Thanks to everyone that left one so far. Hi, Badway.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome back to the Podcast.
Piod. So, some people say that we all wear masks, Drew. So,
Some would say,
so let's get into The Mask. PG-13 movie from July 28th, 1994. Where were you on July 28th, Drew? Were you in the theater?
Remember. I don't think so. Not for this one.
Oh,
I had this on VHS.
I was inside that theater. I was Jim Carreyed up.
You saw this in the theater?
Oh yeah. Fresh-faced 10-year-old boy at a PG-13 movie. Breaking the rules. That's what I do.
In a theater like a 10-year-old boy.
I saw True Lies in the theater too. I mean, it was a great summer for me. It was a great summer.
Quote our boy.
Run time 1 hour 41 minutes.
Just right. Maybe a couple minutes too long.
Maybe a minute too long. Yeah, but comedy / fantasy. I can't speak. Sorry. Comedy / fantasy, directed by our boy Chuck Russell. Not really our boy.
I thought you know what he directed. I thought you were gonna hit me up with. What do you know about Chuck Russell, Drew?
What you know about Chuck Russell? I mean, he's our boy, but
I don't know much about him.
Let's play the Chuck Russell game. He directed one Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh man,
which one was it?
Man, Red Heat. I don't know.
Eraser.
I have no idea.
It was directly after this movie, and then he directed Scorpion King in 2002, and then that was pretty much it. IMDb 6.9 out of 10.
Probably about right.
It's about right. Rotten Tomato 80%.
Too high?
Yeah,
it's about right.
It's about right. It's fine.
About right.
Metacritic 56%. Too low. Letterboxd 3.2 out of 5.
Too low.
That's about right.
Too low.
209,000 votes. 209,000 people. 798 writing about The Mask on Letterboxd.
They bring it. It's Jim Carrey brings the people, man.
Yep,
Jim Carrey brings them.
Puts the butts in the seats.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that's the same exact Letterboxd score as Hard Target from last week.
Was there also 798,000 votes?
They only had 19,000.
I mean, maybe people are just watching The Mask and they're flipping right over to Hard Target. Maybe they're on our wavelength.
There you go.
Our cycles are centered, as they say.
Are you centered?
Synopsis. When timid bank clerk Stanley Ipkiss discovers a magical mask containing the spirit of the Norse god Loki. This was never confirmed. This is just a theory by Ben Stein.
True.
By the way, his entire life changes. While wearing the mask, Ipkiss becomes a supernatural playboy. That's pretty accurate, right?
I mean,
supernatural playboy. If you're going to sum it up in 2 words, it's pretty good.
he did have a smoking jacket, I guess, but
exuding charm and confidence, which allows him to catch the eye of a local nightclub singer, Tina Carlisle. Unfortunately, under the mask's influence, Ipkiss also robs a bank, which angers junior crime lord Dorian Tyrell, whose goons get blamed for the heist.
I mean, they were at the heist.
They were trying. It's attempted bank robbery, really. I mean, they still did a crime. Right?
They did it. They were there with the guns.
Yeah.
They had the doctor there.
Might as well have done it.
But do you like how they called him a junior crime lord? I think it's like such a diss on him.
Oh man, Dorian, like he'd be furious if he read that in the papers.
Like I'm like junior crime lord. That's like it's like calling him a little kid.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that it's a diss.
I mean, that's such a slap in the face.
Anyway, taglines. I'm not going to try this because I can't do it justice. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to spell it out for you.
Why don't you? Spell it.
I'm going to spell it out for you because I'm not Jim Carrey here.
Us.
Ready? SSSSS smoking! Exclamation! 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 Because I'm not Jim Carrey.
That right there, Drew. That was the low point of our podcast.
Yeah,
that was pathetic.
Do you want to? You want to try? Because I can't.
Smoking.
Yeah, there you go. Much better. I can't do that. You know. I can't do that.
You can do it.
From zero to hero.
No. Was he a hero? Was he?
Not really at all.
What did he save?
Tina Carlisle, I guess, maybe. The Coco Bongo Club.
One cabana waitress. That's who he saved. Hero.
Hey man, she was a singer.
He robbed the bank.
He did.
He shoved a freaking muffler up someone's ass.
Yeah.
The hero. Two mufflers up 2 asses.
Yeah.
Hero.
He sodomized people with a muffler. And
he's a sexual predator.
Shouldn't that say from zero to villain to unintended hero, maybe? Something like that?
From zero to anti-hero.
Anti-hero. There you go. That's better. I like that. It's more like a Deadpool situation.
Yeah.
How about this one? Stanley Ipkiss is not the man he used to be. That's probably one of the worst ones we've ever had.
I mean, it's a true fact, but it's also a terrible tagline.
It's a literal fact, but that's just weak.
Let's go with smoking. Let's go with smoking.
So budget, $23 million, which actually surprised me because again, that was right around where Hard Target was from last week, which is wild, especially with the effects budget. But cumulative worldwide gross, a lot higher than Hard Target at 351. This thing was a phenomenon, right? I mean, this was not a small movie here.
I don't know how much, the green face will cost you, but I mean, they got my $12. Or my mom's $12 because I didn't have $12 at the time.
When you got Jim Carrey, I think I saw a fact, we'll get to it later, where he saved them some effects budgets because of his prowess, his physical acting.
Because of his
prowess.
Rubber face, as they say.
They actually had no mask on. It was just him and his face that he put a green tint on.
We all wear masks except Jim Carrey. That's what they say.
Let me tell you about the awards that this thing won. Because and you might have to dog me a little bit here because I did skip over a couple of them, but in the notes. But it won an Academy, or actually it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Effects in 1995 here.
That's pretty significant. I mean, I wasn't expecting that.
And it lost to, what do you think? 1995. The 94 movies. It was up against True Lies.
Oh, yeah.
And it lost to a little old movie called Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're meeting JFK posthumously, it's pretty good in 94.
It also was nominated for multiple BAFTAs, Badway.
Multiple Ball and S Fun Time Awards?
But busted out because it was nominated for Best Makeup and Hair, Best Production Design, and Best Special Effects.
It should have won them all.
I'm not going to go into the deets of who it all lost to, but you get the deal, right?
I mean, BAFTAs were handed out or nominated.
More importantly, and most prestigiously, not the Blockbuster Awards, but Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah,
it won a couple of blimps. Badway. It won.
Blimp winners.
Favorite animal star, Milo.
Of course,
the dog. The actor's name is Max.
Of course,
because what dog's name isn't Max? I had a dog named Max.
Yeah, I know Max.
And Jim Carrey also won for both Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which also came out in the same year, as well as The Mask for favorite movie actor.
Oh, of course. I mean, who else? Favorite movie. What are the choices there? I mean, what are we doing here?
The kids love Jim Carrey. And then last but not least, it was also nominated for a bunch of MTV Movie Awards. Best Breakthrough Performance, Cameron Diaz.
Of course.
Most Desirable Female, Cameron Diaz.
Of course.
Best Comedic Performance, Jim Carrey.
Of course.
Best Dance Sequence, Cameron Diaz and Jim Carrey.
Of course.
You know how high you could go. And then last, but really not least, MTV Movie Awards VMA for Cuban Pete, Jim Carrey. Best video from a film, which is fantastic.
I mean, a delight. A total delight.
I don't know what won that one. I'm too lazy to look it up, but I know that it was nominated, and whatever it was nominated against, it probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah, like what are we talking? What's going on here? Yeah,
which is
crazy.
What now I need to know. I'm going to click on this now because now I need to know because
yeah, what the hell? Beat
oh,
that?
Okay, all right. So yeah, I can't argue with this.
Was it obvious? Yeah.
So I'll tell you the other ones. So Urge, Overkill, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon. Pulp Fiction was another nominee. U2, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. Batman Forever, U2. Bryan Adams, Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman from Don Juan DeMarco. And what other Batman Forever movie was out that year that it might have lost to?
Yes, Kiss from a Rose. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You can't beat that.
What are you even gonna do about it? You got
sorry, Jim. Sorry.
Those
Jim.
are heavy hitters, though. Bryan Adams song, the Pulp Fiction song. Those are heavy hitters, man.
I gotta tell you, like, we've been kind of toying about this. One day we'll get a live stream going on our YouTube channel, but we got to talk about 1994 as a movie year because man, it was a
best year of our lives. The best year of our lives.
One of the great year all around, especially for movies. So anyway, it won a bunch of Razzies. Who cares? Move on. Before we get into this movie, I want to ask you about the feel of it. Like, what the hell is this thing stylistically?
I don't know.
What is it?
Watching this movie as an adult was strange for me.
Why do you say that?
I mean, I hadn't seen it in maybe, I don't even know, maybe 20 years. It just felt a little awkward. Like, it wasn't bad, but the bits weren't really hitting for me. The mask scenes, I was more interested in the non-mask scenes and the patheticness of Stanley Ipkiss. And just him peppering jokes at the screen left and right, him staring at the screen. I liked his over accentuation of mannerisms, but I'm saying like a million times, by the way. The overall over jokiness of it just kind of like felt a little like much for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you agree or not, but that's how I felt. So
you like the real life aspects of it more, like him getting screwed on his car deal, him trying to date the girls, not getting trying to and the mob scenes with Dorian trying to just rob a bank.
And the story of the mask is fine, and him trying to evade the police as obviously his alter ego is running wild. I like the whole story of it.
Yeah, but
the literal slapstick scenes were. It was so obvious. It was never more obvious to me that it was aimed at kids, even though it was a PG-13 movie.
It's an interesting vibe that it gives off because it is kind of two movies. It's the adult stuff, right? Like you said, him getting screwed on the car deals and all this other stuff, him trying to get into the club, just being pathetic, being in the friend zone. But then you're right, the whole zero to hero kind of aspect of it. The hero scenes were definitely very slapsticky. And I don't know if it's, and they juxtapose whatever they call it with the cartoons that he's watching.
Yeah.
And they do that on purpose, it seems, because it's a direct call to some of the things he's doing. Exactly.
Yeah, it's his id. Is it his id?
Right.
Ego?
Yeah. It's
id and ego, whatever the hell you call it.
Whatever he's feeling internally, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to bash the movie at all, because first of all, I'm not doing that. I think it was a good movie. And I don't want to bash the slapstick of it all either, because it worked at the time and it may have worked for a younger version of me. It's just, and it's fine. It's just not for me now,
So,
but it still had enough redeeming qualities.
Yeah. So what did you see? So you were in the theater. You said that earlier. Did you love this growing up? How many times did you watch this over and over?
I own the VHS too. Oh yeah, I watched it a bunch of times. This and Ace Ventura.
Wasn't it a yellow VHS too, or am I mistaken?
It was purple.
It was purple. Right. It had a weird color to it, right? Yeah, it was it wasn't the normal black.
It was purple, and it had little Milo in the corner.
Yeah, because I had this too, and I remember watching this, over and over and over. And the thing that really stood out to me was the second I hit play. I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't seen this in probably 20 years, and immediately all the lines came back to me. Immediately, I was reciting them myself in my head as we were watching it, just because it was so
even
familiar.
The mundane ones, like when Cameron Diaz walks in, the sidekick goes, killer at 3:00.
Yes.
Like the way things are accentuated, like that just triggered in my brain.
Yeah.
Things
It
like
had
that.
a weird like gothic
Yeah.
vibe to it too, like Edge City. And I mean, look, the first thing we'll say about this, besides the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about, is this is based on a comic book series. I've not read the comic book series. I don't think you have either.
Nah.
We're not talking about the comic book series per se. So if there's backstory and stuff, please don't flame us. I don't know much about it.
Nah.
So I'm going to kind of watch this in a vacuum. But like, what did you think of the whole like vibe of the city? Because it had like a gothic feel to it, almost like a Batman the Animated Series. Like the font, it had that like 40s movie theater. It was like a 90s movie that felt like it was in the 40s.
Yeah, I thought like it was, it was like obviously fake in a way. A lot
Like
of
you could tell it was on a soundstage.
Yeah, a lot of the sets, like the Cocobonga, like outdoors, the park bench scene at Landfill Park, things like that. The bridge scene, like it was almost on purpose filmed as if to like have it be fake on purpose. Like I don't know.
I know what you
Maybe that's
mean.
the way I'm interpreting, but it seemed phony on purpose.
Well, they only
was
did
like a
have a $20
stylistic
million,
choice. Yeah.
$20 million
No,
budget.
but I don't think they were cheaping out. I think it was like a stylistic decision.
Yeah.
What
about the whole swing music thing? Like we talked about Cuban Pete earlier. That's a little different, but like the club swinging thing, like this was during the 90s and pretty sure like the mid to late 90s, that swing revival came back. They had Brian Setzer Orchestra, that song Hey Pachuco. Like I had the soundtrack to this and I remember listening to it. I had the CD.
Yeah, but it's funny, that whole scene, it's kind of based off of his watching of cartoons and his style. Like if you remember, he turned the band into that band. That band was not that band until he used his mask powers, right?
He spun them around.
Yeah.
We'd also be remiss if we don't mention the sequel, The Son of the Mask, which I've never actually seen. But why wasn't there an actual sequel? Do you know about the background of this? I think you sent me an article about it.
Yeah, so
earlier.
when I was researching this, we did find out that it looks like New Line Cinema did try to throw a lot of money at Jim Carrey. I think it was like $10 million or something to do a sequel.
Which is a lot at the time.
Yeah. Carrey said basically he didn't think he had anything left to give the character and didn't want to do it just for the money, which is commendable. I guess he wanted to be, more creative and do new things and not fall down the sequel hole, even though he kind of did with Ace Ventura.
I mean, this was like at the height. So this was right before he got hot, right? I mean, this was 94, so it was Dumb and Dumber. It was all these movies coming out. Ace Ventura,
coming up.
Batman coming up. Like this was the Jim Carrey, like just peak.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that he would have turned down a sequel, but maybe I respect it, right? If you don't like what they're doing, don't do it.
He didn't want to be bogged down probably by like, all right, I'm going to do the Ace Ventura franchise twice, and I'm going to do the Mask franchise twice. He probably wanted to keep his options open, which, you bet on yourself because obviously, you turn down $10 million for the Mask and you end up making $20 million on Dumb and Dumber. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Batman or whatever the hell he made on Batman.
Have you ever seen Son of the Mask? Because I have not. I know it exists, but I've never seen it.
You're asking me, have I seen a Jamie Kennedy movie before? I'll say the answer is yes to that, but it wasn't this movie.
I remember watching, I forgot what the movie was, where it was about it was called Heckler, right? Where Jamie Kennedy was talking about Son of the Mask and how people it was about critics like review bombing and stuff. Do you remember that? It was actually really like pretty sad to watch.
He made some good points about, it's a kid's movie and people were treating it like cinema and bashing it like it's supposed to, mean something other than it being a kid's movie.
I feel bad for him in that. Yeah.
But I mean, still probably was a piece of crap. I didn't watch it. I don't know.
So would you watch that? Would you, if I told you watch it, would you watch it?
No, we're not going to do that movie. No, we're not going to do that movie. But
you heard it here, folks.
Yeah, but what I will say is that I feel like if this movie were made in like the mid 2000s, it would have been a sequel 7 times over. I feel like
a franchise thing.
I feel like at the time in the 90s, it was less likely to be a sequel. And obviously it takes a special person like Jim Carrey to turn it down, kind of seeing his own future, knowing that he's about to blow up. But yeah, I feel like this would have been 30 times over. I don't know if it were made in 2000s, it probably wouldn't have been Jim Carrey. but I wonder like who it could have been in the 2000s. Like, is this like an Adam Sandler movie?
It's Adam Sandler hands.
You know what I mean?
It's like it's not even close. It's absolutely Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And like maybe if we're lucky, we get Ben Stiller. I don't know.
It's Adam Sandler all the way. It has his name written on it completely.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Well, you know what though? To the point you made earlier, if this was made in the 2000s, they'd make a whole bunch of sequels. Hey man, what did they do in the 90s when you got a movie and you don't make a sequel? You make a cartoon.
Gotta make cartoon.
So, did you watch the cartoon for this? Because there's a cartoon with toys, there's a video game, but the cartoon I remember was like, I think it was 3 seasons. It was over 50 episodes.
Yeah,
I remember watching it.
I vaguely remember, but I can't remember anything about any plots or anything like that. I remember watching it off and on. I wasn't religiously tied to it.
Did you play the video game for the movie?
I got a problem with these types of video games, and like, especially in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era of gaming, where a movie comes out and they're going to we'll make a game out of the movie, and it's going to be a platformer, and it's going to have bad hit detection, and it's going to be you collecting trinkets, and then the bosses are impossible to beat because the hit detection is so bad, and nothing is explained in the game, and then you rent it, and then you get to the second level, you can't beat the second level, and you return it, and then that's the end of that. That's kind of how all those games go. Yeah.
And you pretend that you liked it.
Yeah,
I love
it's great. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm glad I
spent the money.
$7. I'm glad I spent $7 on the rental. Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, look, video game rentals, you make it $7. Like, I get it. You've got to make it something so that they can make it worth renting, like, especially for a couple of days. But $7 back in 1994 is a lot of money when you think about it.
I don't know if it was $7.94.
It probably was.
I mean, Lanco's $1 a day, which was great. Grocery store.
That's a good deal.
I feel like Blockbuster back in the Sega and Super Nintendo days was maybe $4, maybe $4 or $5 for like 5-day rental.
At a certain point, though, it's like, when do you just say, I'm just going to buy this thing because it's a better deal? But as a kid, you get the rental. It's easier, right?
Well, when I was in the movie business, it was $7.99 for sure, which was an outrageous price.
That is outrageous, and I'm no wonder they went under.
Yeah,
not to dump on your former place of employment, but
yeah,
they got a little bold there.
Well, no, we didn't go under. It made some big money, man. Big money.
Oh, man.
Guys, we got to get that Game Pass, man. $30 a month.
That actually was a good deal, and the Movie Pass was a great deal. When you guys were selling that, I was in. I liked that a lot.
Man, Netflix suck it.
Let's talk about Stanley Ipkiss and Jim Carrey. How Jim Carrey is this movie, man? Is this like we talk about peak?
But how the Jim Carrey scale? It's not quite Ace Ventura, but it's
literally.
But it's under. It's ahead of Liar Liar on the Jim Carrey-ness of it all.
Okay. Is it like a Jack Black-esque performance where it's like he's him?
So I mean, I think what is the most Jim Carrey? Ace Ventura 2?
It's got to be Ace Ventura 2. It's over the
sequel.
top.
Yeah, for sure.
This is close to it though because he's doing the cartoon character.
Yeah, he's supposed to be cartoonish. Yeah,
the whole behavior, like maybe Jack Black is more him than he is Jack Black, obviously, because Jim Carrey is like at the echelon of like physical comedy.
Would you say Jim Carrey was more doing Jim Carrey in this movie or Dumb and Dumber? Or
probably
the Riddler,
this one,
or as
no,
the Riddler.
The Riddler is actually, he might even be more
so Jim Carrey. Yeah,
maybe the Riddler is more Jim Carrey. He might be the most.
Riddler might be second most Jim Carrey to Ace Ventura 2.
Ahead of Ace Ventura 1.
Ahead of Ace Ventura 1.
Exactly, because he dialed it up. Because you have a sequel, you got to make it bigger. You got to make it more Jim Carrey, and that's what they're paying him for.
Yep.
Not to just be, James
just
Carrey.
Limbs flailing, mouth going in all directions.
The scene that two scenes in Ace Ventura 2, which I saw actually before I saw the first one, and I saw it in the theater because I never saw the first one at the time, growing up. But I remember the birthing scene was the one part.
The rhino scene, yeah.
When he's in the surveillance thing, but then also just the dumbest thing, right? When he gets speared in the legs and he's like yelling at his legs.
Oh, yeah. That is Tommy Davidson, yeah.
When I think of Jim Carrey, that's what I think of in my head. And then the Riddler. So that's that. But they got a deal on him, man. So this was before he was locked up this was before Ace Ventura came out. So they paid him, I think it was like $500,000. That's it.
So he filmed and completed Ace Ventura, right?
Yes.
He signed on to do Mask. And then probably as he was shooting Mask, Ace Ventura was released and then known to be a hit.
I think it was right like that. And then they gave him, so he also got the $7 million. So apparently because of this, because of Dumb and Dumber, because of all these things then.
Yeah.
So that's when he really, his stardom really shot into the stratosphere. Like, could you imagine anyone else playing Stanley Ipkiss here? Because I got a list of actors and I want to quiz you, but like.
It's funny. We always do this and like, no, I can't imagine someone else doing it. But when you name the names, like it becomes more clear whether it was possible or not.
Yeah. Well, let me give you some names and then you just tell me straight up.
Okay.
Your boy, Matthew Broderick.
It's too old and bland.
Steve Martin.
Too old and
too corny.
White haired.
Yeah. He got a green mask, doesn't matter. Yeah. Rick Moranis. I love Rick Moranis, but no way.
No, he couldn't pull off the zaniness. I mean, he could pull off the Ipkiss part, but I can't imagine him being the Mask. Too short.
Martin Short.
Also too short.
You know what?
He could do it.
Did you watch the movie Clifford, where he's like the little kid, but he's like an adult? You know what a movie I'm talking about?
Yeah.
With Charles Grodin, the guy from Beethoven and all that.
Yeah.
Like, such a ridiculous movie. Keanu Reeves.
Too handsome.
Yeah, no way.
Too
Wasn't
dumb to
he
be
most
funny.
Desirable male? Like, come on, we can't give him
too
that.
dumb to be funny.
Mike Myers. In 94? I don't know. When was Austin Powers? 96?
96. Yeah.
All right.
96, 97, something like that. Maybe 97. We're close. Close on Mike Myers.
John Ritter. Hell no.
What are we doing here? Come on. Next. I mean, let's get serious.
All right. Now, this guy would never do it, but Robin Williams.
Yeah, too old.
But too amazing.
He could do it. He could absolutely do it. It's like the genie in real life.
And I'm not saying that, Jim Carrey is not a good actor, but Robin Williams is an actor. He was an actor.
He's too busy playing a 5-year-old in Jack to be slumming it as a green-faced guy, right?
Which we will do one day on this show. I would like to do it. What about, and this is someone that I'm real curious, Nicolas Cage.
I mean, this was the guy. I mean, didn't they want him? Didn't the rumor go that they wanted him?
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. So it's weird because Nick Cage is like, what, 50 at this point? He's probably not, but he looks 50.
No, in 94.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in his 30s, but he looks 50.
He did. It's the chest hair. That's what's got him.
And like the type of balding, like he's got the receding hairline, but he's not quite bald. But he's got the type of receding hairline that a guy who had good hair at one point, it's like he's losing it
in the corners.
Like, and it's just like he's 50 and he's hanging on to being cool, like that kind of thing. Like he'll be wearing a leather jacket to try to be cool or something like that. Midlife crisis.
Listen,
that's what Nick Cage looked perpetually in the 90s.
He did, and actually, so 94 he did Trapped in Paradise, a great movie.
Yeah,
and then 95 Oscar winning Leaving Las Vegas, and then he did The Rock in 96, Con Air in 97.
He was not in this pocket of movie back then, I suppose, right?
But Vampire's Kiss was, what is that, the 80s? That's when he was 80s. Doing the eccentric craziness, which I think he could have done. Like I actually think he could do this. I think he could do it.
He could have done it. I can't imagine him being this goofy in a movie.
You can't.
As goofy a mother effer as he is.
Where's Dave at? Because Dave would love this, right? I'm shout out to Dave because I know both Dave and Jamie, and Jamie especially. I think she would love to see Nick Cage as the Mask. So
it's an alternate universe,
I gotta give them a shout out because from my perspective, I would love to see Nick Cage playing him. But you know what? We got blessed with Jim Carrey and his phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
I'm glad it went down. They saved money on the special effects budget. I was saying before, right? The director revealed that because of Jim Carrey's body movements were so flexible and cartoonish, they didn't need to enhance them digitally, which is pretty incredible. That's a testament to the actor.
Jim Carrey DS Fest sounds like, I don't know.
How we talked about Ipkiss being pathetic. Yeah. How pathetic is this guy? Like
one pathetic loser.
Right. The pathetic history book here of him. What are some of the things that make this guy pathetic in your opinion?
Well, he's a pushover. He's a hopeless romantic that, is too afraid to ask someone out. He'll kind of hover in the friend zone forever. that kind of thing. Buy tickets for a date and then just giving both away, not accepting money for them.
Was that a violation that she didn't offer him money? Like, I think if you're
it was
gonna
the plan all along. She knew what she was doing.
But I mean, even just the gesture of, at least let me pay you. Like, it was.
She didn't even empty gesture it.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah,
and
he would have said no anyway. But
right.
She didn't even empty gesture it.
It's one thing.
Yeah.
It's if you say get an extra ticket,
yeah.
But to say, we'll give it this, it's like, well, at least let me give you some money for this. And he would say, no, don't worry about it. She didn't even offer.
It shows you how little she respects him.
Exactly. Which is added to the list.
Yeah.
Added to the list.
No
what
respect.
else?
No respect. As in the beginning, he gets taken advantage of by the mechanics, gets put in the Lona, cut to the Coco Bongo Club. Can't get in even after the palm was greased by his friend, thrown to the gutter. Just the guy he's gutless. He's gutless.
What do you think about greasing palms at clubs?
Got to.
What's your take on that?
Got to.
You know Bobby?
Yeah.
You know my friend Bobby?
You know my name? Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
George
Exactly.
Washington.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think, you're right. He painted the whole thing as pathetic. The newspaper lady, I don't even remember her name. The
Deb, or she looked like
Ask
a Deb.
Debbie or something. I forgot
Peg?
whatever the column is. Peggy. Ask Peg. Peg.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole thing of him finding the mask? So, he's pathetic. He finds this mask and it turns him into something. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on down here. He sees this thing floating down in the water.
He
It
sees
looks like a
garbage.
dead body.
Garbage in the river.
Are
That's
you?
what he
Yeah.
sees.
Are you going down there to get it? And do you
No.
like how they made the thing move? They
Yeah.
moved it like a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of little shine,
Yeah.
little reflection. Like, ooh, what is that?
I mean, he's a nice guy. He went to save somebody who he thought was drowning, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even if I did that, which I'm not even sure I would do, save a person drowning. Yeah, well, who knows? I'm not a hero. Yeah, I'm a do-gooder, but I don't know if I'm a hero.
You're not jumping in the river at Edge City.
It depends. Edge. What's in that water? We don't know. We don't know.
A lot of trash. That's clear that.
A lot of wooden trash. No, yeah. Even if I go down there, I see this mask. I'm not bringing trash home with me. I don't know what's in that thing. You get termites in that thing, and all of a sudden you get bugs all in your furniture. You're done. You're done.
I thought it was interesting he brought it home because this thing's floating in the river. It looked like a dump river. I mean, it looked like the kind that they dump chemicals into. And
it's right next to Landfill Park. So
and he's putting this thing on.
Yeah.
He's taking this thing on. I mean, it's just kind of gross, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. Who needs it?
What about putting this on? Like, what does a transformation happen? Like, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know where you've been, but have you ever seen this movie? Describe the transformation for people, please.
Idiots.
After I insulted our whole audience.
Idiots, watch the movie, damn it.
I'm sorry to everyone out there that actually listens to this.
Well, I mean, if you're, if you're between the ages of, let's say, 30 and 45, if you haven't seen The Mask, like, yeah, it's like weird, right?
I feel I'm the worst host of all time, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. You should feel bad. So here's my theory about this mask. So you put the mask on, and he starts to go through this metamorphosis, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's spinning all over the room. He's knocking over lamps, kicking over tables as he's being overwhelmed by the power of the mask. It's feeding into his body.
Yeah.
It's almost sexual, I feel.
It is.
Is it sexual?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Not to sexualize everything
Yeah.
here like we do, but it definitely was.
His soul is, it's like if your soul was penetrated, that's kind of what is happening to him, Stanley Ipkiss. And I don't know, I feel do you think he's conscious in that moment, the Stanley Ipkiss, or is it just his ego, or I don't even know, ego, whatever the hell it is.
His splicing his situation.
Is it is he at all aware, the real Stanley Ipkiss, when this change has happened?
I don't know, because he wakes up and he sort of thought it was a dream. So maybe the more he gets used to the feeling, the more powerful, or the less, I don't want to say the less powerful it is, but maybe the more he does it, the more he gets used to it, the more he can kind of be himself.
You can kind of harness it and control it. and maybe even control is the wrong word, but be aware of the surroundings and like if you want to take it off. So I feel like his first night, there's no way he could physically take it off himself. Like it would have to be like after, him crashing into his bed and like, dawn starts and the thing probably falls off, because it only works at night.
That's right, because it only works at night, right? Because that's what I was thinking. Like, did it fall off and did he get back in bed because of that? Like, they should have shown him woken up on the middle of the street.
And
like,
I guess
instead of that.
And if you wear it all night, maybe it's like the equivalent of being like blackout drunk, Like that's my feeling of how it works.
Yeah, because he woke up, he thought it was a dream. He thought he was basically had a bender or something, and then he found out on the news that he robbed a bank. Essentially.
Yeah, but I don't know, because like maybe you can control it or maybe you can't, because I'm thinking of the scene at Landfill Park where he meets Cameron Diaz and he's like basically assaulting her.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The real Stanley Ipkiss would never do that, but that's the point of the mask, is to do things that Stanley would never do, but it's taking it too far. They went like Pepe Le Pew with it all, right?
They did.
They went full on Pepe Le Pew, even with a French accent. But like, you would think if the real Stanley was in there at all, he would not have allowed him to sexually assault her.
But
which he almost did.
I think he wanted to, and that's the thing. Like it let him.
To?
Well, I don't know that he wanted to. He wanted to be with her. Put it that way.
Wanted to be with her at all costs.
Yes, at all costs. And
if you're willing to rob a bank, how far are you willing to go to get the girl of your dreams?
And
it's a dangerous game he's playing.
Right.
Too dangerous.
The truth. Yeah. Too dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so what does it feel like when you're going through this? You mentioned the guy's going in a tornado. It's like does it hurt, do you think? Like, or does it feel like powerful? Like it feels good?
They're living in Edge City, so what do you think, man?
It's edging.
It's like right on the edge there.
He's right on the edge.
It's right there.
And look, I don't know. I've never read the comics, so I don't know if they go into any of the details on any of this stuff. But do you think it hurts?
No, it's euphoric. It's like, euphoric.
He was yelling and like screaming. It was
a lot of yelling and screaming happens in the bedroom too. So. It's all connected.
Like, but what does it give you extra powers? Like
sexual?
Yeah, I mean, does it? And look, like I don't know. I can go into
please,
this right now.
No, go. Let's get it going.
I don't know how I can go into this, but
no, do it.
Look, his face is green. That's all I'll say. But like, does anything else turn green?
Well, no, his hands are still white.
That we can see, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like, does it enhance anything else?
What if there was like a little mask on the tip? Like, wouldn't that be funny?
All right.
Have we gone too far?
No, but I mean, like, what if all the confidence, like, it actually like makes you impotent because all of the confidence is going towards your ego and like how you're acting, and then you actually like all the power. It's like an actor, right? Like an actor.
Right. Let's just rated R this right now. Let's get out of the way because we're all thinking it. The question needs to be asked.
Yeah.
What is this masked character like in the bedroom?
Yeah. I mean,
is it crazy? Is it a nightmare? Is it pleasurable to the woman? Is it too much? Is it too much for him as the mask?
That's why he woke up on the side of the road.
And if, like, let's say Cameron Diaz wore the mask, like the opposite way, like, is it too much for?
I think so.
For Stanley to handle.
I think it depends on the person, right? Like look at Dorian, right?
Yeah.
Dorian turned into like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what that means in the bedroom, but
yeah.
What I know is that it turned him into something like more of like it almost looked like a bruiser kind of bodybuilder looking guy. Yeah. And the dog went kind of nuts too. So it turned the dog into like a crazy dog.
Yeah.
Like
these characters are horny when they have the mask on. Let's get that out of the way right now. They're all horny. This is very sexual.
Even the dog too. It's very, very weird, isn't it?
Yes.
So they know. I mean, look, back in the 90s, I guess that's what they did. So it's
that's what they did.
1994.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll in the 90s, man. What are you gonna do?
That's what it was all about back then. And I think that all of the power is going to his ego that I feel like he would not be able to perform properly, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know if you agree with that thing.
No, I think he would perform too
much
efficiently. Like I don't necessarily,
tornado.
to put this PG-13. I don't think it would necessarily make him a better lover. It would just make him a more exhaustive lover,
An efficient lover.
Efficient.
And
Yeah,
efficient.
maybe efficient. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It would be almost cartoonish.
Do you think that this thing is like wearing? Is it like wearing a drug? Or sorry, not wearing a drug. Is it like using a drug where the more you use this, you get addicted to it, or do you think he got used to it? Because it seemed like he got used to it.
You kind of got used to it. I feel like you're able to more harness it, come off it when you want, that kind of thing. Take it off, take it on, put it on. I think it's like riding a bike. I mean, you become a pro at using it, and then maybe you can stop yourself from committing crimes.
Yeah,
and maybe using it for actual superhero, type shit.
Harness the power.
Yeah,
not like
I think it's
beating up your landlord.
Yeah, I think it's potential for possibly using it for good, like a Spider-Man would.
Do you think?
But I don't know. I bet the comics probably contrast there, but who cares?
Do you think that the landlord had it coming? Because I kind of think she did.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, she's lucky that she didn't get smashed with that hammer. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Isn't her job to take care of those carpets? And he walked in from the rain. Like, what's he supposed to do?
But when he smashed up when the mask smashes up the thing. How about her just opening fire without really asking any questions with the shotgun?
She's upset about the carpet having mud on it, and she's blasting into people's apartments.
Is there a stand your ground law in Edge City? Like, we don't know this. We don't know.
There must be.
Edge City, Florida.
There must be.
Yeah.
What would if you put the mask on, what would your character be like?
It's funny because I, may say the same for you, but I'm more Stanley Ipkiss than I am Dorian.
I think I am too.
So I'm not as much of a pushover as Ipkiss is, but like I think it would be similar.
I'm definitely a pushover.
I wouldn't be as sex crazy as this mask was. I don't think I'd be assaulting women, but I might accidentally rob a bank. What else? I don't know what else I would do.
You need to make a withdrawal.
Yeah, I need to make a withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've never gotten screwed at the car place like that bad, but it's probably happened to me on occasion. I'm definitely a pushover. Yeah. I don't think I would be a sex crazed maniac either, though.
Yeah. Like it's in Stanley's repressed, the recesses of his mind to be sex crazed because he's so lack of sex crazed. But I don't know. I can't think of the crimes I would commit. Like I wouldn't be killing people. I wouldn't be. I might beat a few people up, comically with a fish, with a trout, a salmon in my pocket. I don't know. I might rob a bank, rob from the rich and give to the me. I might do that. Who knows? Would you commit any crimes? You think your masked self?
I think I would just probably punk a bunch of people that I think punk me. I think that's what I would do.
Great word. I would punk people. Yes, whether it be through some physical violence, non-lethal, or embarrassment, that type of thing.
Because I think about it, it's like, man, if I just had like when he said to Mrs. what is it, Peenman or Beanman?
Peenman.
Whatever it was, when he says, don't you do at the factory to get your bolts tightened? Oh, I should have said that. That's me a lot of times in life. I should have said that.
Yeah, when you, whether in your work life or maybe back in high school or college or something, where someone was a smart ass to you and you thought up a good comeback an hour later.
That's me.
It's like, you go back, you punk that guy.
I should have said that, and that's what I would do. I'd probably use it unintentionally to be punking people that I.
That's a great term. I would punk people with it. Yes.
They got one on me.
Yeah.
What do you think? I don't have this in the notes. So I'm just going to ask on the fly here. But what do you think of his friend Charlie? Like, is he really a good friend? Like, it seemed like I don't really get this guy.
Here's
are
the
they
thing
good
about
friends
Charlie.
or are they coworkers?
They're just coworkers. It's all proximity. I don't think that guy would normally associate with such a spineless weasel. It's just Stanley Ipkiss. Few do. Few would. I think he's kind of a poser. I don't think he's as cool as he thinks he is. But he does get himself into the Coco Bongo Club because he knows how to grease palms. But I feel like he's kind of a loser too, but more of a confident loser.
Yeah, he's a confident loser. He's not aware of his own self, I would say. He also looks like he's 55, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he has the confidence to wear a white tuxedo. You got to respect that.
That's true. You do got to respect that. You do. What about Tina Carlisle? So this is Cameron Diaz's first movie, and I remember. Listen, the soundtrack of this movie, I'm like 99% certain that the inside cover was a picture of her walking in from the rain.
Yeah, that's an iconic, like,
they knew what
entrance.
they were doing.
That's an entrance of a career right there, right?
It made her career. This was her first movie.
She was, I mean, I'm not trying to be inappropriate or anything like that, but let's just call it like I see it. You know, let's call it as it is. I mean, she is just beautiful in this movie.
Yeah.
And like, so like a who is this kind of actress? You don't see that too often, where this like star making performance, not only from an acting point of view, which she was a great actress in this as well, but like it's kind of like, who is that? Like,
yeah.
Like, forget the mask. I came for Jim Carrey's shenanigans, but who is this?
The movie put her on the map.
Who is this stunner?
Yeah, she was great, and then she went on to do a whole bunch of other movies, and she's a good actress in this too.
I was 10 years old, and I wasn't really thinking about girls at 10 years old, and I was like, who is this?
You were like Jim Carrey when he turns into the dog and like his eyes pop out.
I think every guy was.
Yeah,
honestly.
What about the whole story about how she had to apparently audition for this 12 times? Like, at what point do you just give up? That
makes me think that the casting director had some shenanigans on the side.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah,
I mean, it could have been. But I thought she was good. Like,
no, she was good.
She was really good.
Yeah, she was really good, and she's always been a good actress. But like, I don't mean to sound disrespectful when I say this, but I'm just gonna say it. She's never looked better than she did in this movie.
I agree.
It has nothing to do with age or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, the way that they made her out to be, the style of the movie, the wardrobe, the makeup, all of it combined, the hairstyle. Like, this was like a wow performance from her.
It was good. What do you think of their chemistry? Did you think that she had chemistry with him? Because it was, in the beginning, it was sort of fake, and then it seemed like she actually did like him.
No, I didn't buy it. I didn't really buy it. I don't know. Because he's such an awkward dude in the movie. And I don't know. At that point, Jim Carrey was not a get the girl kind of guy at that point.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's a second movie, but like, you think about Ace Ventura, where he was kind of a sex crazed pet detective, but you know, he did have the Courtney Cox love affair.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't see the vibes. Did you catch the vibes?
I wasn't really feeling it either. Like, I felt like it was a transactional relationship here, and she liked the mask. And I know she fell out of love with the mask pretty quickly, but I felt like it was, I don't know. I could rather see her with him than Dorian, though, because I didn't think her and Dorian had anything really either, outside of the fact that he was the mob boss and she was at the club, the junior mob boss.
Yeah.
And she was working at this club, but I didn't really get it. Like, was she part of his crew? Or was she like he dating her? Like, it was really weird because she went in and helped him with the bank.
No,
surveillance.
I don't think she was really part of the crew. I just think she was dating him, and then he was putting her on to perform at the Coco Bongo, and with her dating him, she'll do favors for him, like go to the bank and surveil the vault and all that.
I know this is minutia, and I know that it doesn't. I know we talked about this, and I know you don't care about this, but it's a big thing that I care about in this movie. They send her into this thing with this contraption to do all kinds of like secret surveillance when they could just literally walk in and open up a checking account and look at exactly what she was looking at.
No,
it wasn't like they were recording codes or things like that.
You can't show your face if you're about to knock the joint off.
Why not? Like,
because you're like,
what if he works there?
You're suspect number one. You got to just, it's safer to send the girl.
What if
she's not going to be a part of the hit?
Why would you rob your own money? I have a checking account here. I'm robbing my own money. It makes no sense. I'm a customer here. That's your alibi right there.
Yeah. Well, so that's anyone who has a checking account at the bank. They're automatically. It's like the perfect crime.
I've been a PNC customer. Since
let me go rob PNC right now because I'm a customer, and that would, come on.
I got a checking account here, man. Why would I rob my own money? It's FDIC insured, 100,000.
I'm glad you're not a detective because you just crossed off everyone off the list. That just because, it can't be Kevin because, damn it, he has a checking account there.
But come on, why would you rob your own money?
Meanwhile, I've got stacks of cash in my closet.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of sidekicks, how about the dog? I mean, come on. Is this dog not the best dog in the movie?
Sidekick of the millennium, man. Everybody wanted Milo.
What did you think of this thing? Because I wanted a Jack Russell Terrier after watching this movie.
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone did.
everybody wanted that dog. He was, great friend, great sidekick, smart dog. He wanted to play fetch. Who doesn't want that dog?
Apparently Jim Carrey, because he's a jerk on set. This dog.
Yeah, we did see that there were rumors on set that the dog was kind of a jerk. It wouldn't listen.
Does it surprise you? It doesn't for me.
No, that dog looks like a little asshole, doesn't he?
He does.
But I still wanted him.
See, now that you're an adult and you know what having a dog actually means, like you're not 10, it's like, I don't want that dog.
It's not all fun and games.
That dog's going to be a
Can you
jerk.
imagine? Can you imagine? So the apartment that he was living, like what floor was he living in?
I don't even know.
Like to have a dog and have to just take an elevator or just a multiple, flights of stairs just to take the dog out to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it, man. To have a dog in an apartment building like that in a big city, it's got to be brutal.
I more respect because I don't even have an apartment. I got like a 2-floor house, and it's like I don't even want to take the dog outside. That's why I don't want to get a dog right now.
Yeah, like you're gonna take the dog out because it's got to pee at 6 a.m. But like if you have a house where you just no floors, where you just open the door and let him out in your yard, you still got to get up and do that. But to get up and then walk down 17 flights of stairs to find a patch of grass where in Edge City is the patch of grass.
That's true love, man.
It's man, that's it's too much. It's too
man's best friend.
Too much.
Kevin's best friend.
Yeah. Too much.
I want to ask you. I'll go through these super quick. Where does this dog rank against other Hollywood dogs? I'll just throw out some here. You tell me whether Milo is better or not.
It's up there.
What about Beethoven we mentioned Charles Grodin, but
I don't want Beethoven, man.
No, I think slobbers too much.
It's too big, slobbery. Who wants that?
What about Benji?
What does Benji even do? Does Benji do things?
I forgot. It's been a long time since I've seen Benji. I think he's just a great dog.
I don't think he's too wholesome. Benji has some kind of dark secret that we don't know. That's what I think.
He's really a secret.
I don't trust him.
What about Einstein from Back to the Future? He's not really in it much.
Yeah, he doesn't. What does he do? He just exists.
I think I'm taking Milo. What about Samantha from I Am Legend? That's the German Shepherd.
I mean, it's a great helper dog, but it's too serious of a dog.
Yeah, you're hunting zombies, right? Or vampires, whatever it is. Scooby Doo.
I mean, the dog basically speaks English.
Yeah.
So I mean, how could you compare?
But how could you feed
Scooby Doo?
You're gonna need to be have a second job just to feed him because he's always eating stuff.
Well, if you're a weed head owner, then it's always the food's always there. You're both thinking about the food at all times. So
I love how implied it is that Shaggy's just the biggest stoner.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Yeah.
What about Buddy from Air Bud?
So, I've never seen these movies, but I imagine Air Bud is as with any golden retriever, really. I feel like golden retrievers think they're hot shit. I don't like what how could I compare a golden retriever to? I don't know. It's like the straight A student that's also the quarterback of the
team, varsity team.
Yeah, and he's also the valedictorian, and it's you're doing too much. The golden retrievers do too much. They try too hard. Try less.
Do less.
Do less.
I hear you on that. What about Hooch from Turner and Hooch?
Yeah, I mean, what is he? Partner of a cop?
Is he a bloodhound? I don't remember what he was.
I think he's a bloodhound.
Yeah, I mean, it would make
partner
sense.
of a cop. I mean, I feel like they're, again, it's a little bit of. I feel like Turner is trying too hard to make Hooch a thing.
Yeah,
just leave the dog at home and do your freaking job.
And I don't know, I don't know that if I saw Turner and Hooch, I'm rushing out to buy a bloodhound. I don't know how you can compare that. What about Baxter?
Duck hunting? You gonna go duck hunting?
Exactly. What about Baxter from Anchorman?
Yeah. See, now we're talking. This is a similar type of dog. It's a small dog. It's a wise dog. A bad man once punted Baxter. That's a shame. But no, overall, yeah, I think Baxter. He's a loyal, helpful dog. Still take Milo.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah.
What about Toto from The Wizard of Oz?
Toto can go to hell. Screw Toto.
I don't know. I just saw this list. It was from actually funny enough.
That was a good list.
Goodhousekeeping.com. There's 40 of them.
That was a good list. No, I liked it.
I still think I'm taking Baxter over all of them. I'm sorry, Milo. That's what I mean. Yeah, I think I'm taking Milo over all of them.
And screw Air Bud. Screw all golden retrievers.
I know we didn't talk about this too much and really the plot of this because it doesn't really matter at all, but I just want to talk a little bit about Dorian Tyrell for a second. We can build and scale him real quick because we got to do that before we leave.
Payback.
let's talk about this guy here because we're not playing the game like you mentioned before. Nico is really the guy that's really the mob boss, but Dorian's the villain.
There's a guy above Dorian, but we're not doing this.
We're not.
Dorian's the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
And great name, by the way. Dorian Tyrell. Great name.
Great name.
Great villain name.
If you're new to the show, we put every villain of every movie through the patented Last Row Podcast villain scale. 4 major categories, 1 to 5. Look/style, hideout/lair, plan, henchman. Let's get to it, Badway.
Might score high here.
I think he might be a little dark horse in the system here. I've
the
got all the
overall
other
rankings
ones too.
Yeah.
Let's see where he nets out. We'll tell people at the end, but look and style.
How would you describe his hair? Like, there's a way to describe it. Like, it doesn't have a name, but it's
blow dried. It's what
blow
I would say.
dried. It's like white
Puffed.
guy villain afro.
Yeah,
kind of, right?
Yes. It's like puffed. He's got
got
the chain.
Yeah. And then when he popped the mask on, the hair got bigger.
Yeah. So the question becomes like, are we rating him as the junior mob boss or are we rating him as the mask too? I think we got to do both.
So it's
right?
like if we villain scaled Shredder from Ninja Turtles, like, do we also do we factor in Super Shredder?
You gotta. You have to.
You have to factor in, his mask version as well.
Did you see how wide this dude's neck got when he put the mask on? I mean, it's like bigger than my 2 legs combined.
That's how he views himself. He thinks himself as a tough guy. But really, when he fought Stanley Ipkiss kicked his ass, which is kind of surprising. When it was human on human, no mask involved.
That's true. He was pretty lanky, I guess.
So this guy is wearing great suits, great 90s suits, mostly blacks with like flashy looking lapels, no tie, but mainly no ties. Like we said, the blown out mafioso cut. Dare I give him a 4 or 3?
I think
you
we
have 3
could.
or 4?
I think we could go 4, man, because of the mask look. Because he had the red eyes, he had the high cheekbones.
Yeah,
the
cheekbones were massive.
Turned into basically like Lou Ferrigno when he would, and the guy who actually played him. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, there's no way this is Peter Green. Like, no way. When he put the mask on, and lo and behold, there's a guy that played him who was uncredited in the movie.
Yeah.
So he was actually another actor, but he had like veins popping out of his neck. His hair, like you said, got even more blow dried. It was even more blown out. He had the red eyes. He had the crazy teeth that looked like demon teeth.
Yeah,
I like this guy.
Before we get off of this, the hair in general from all of the bad guys was fantastic in this movie.
100%. We got to talk about that in Henchmen too, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like a 4 for him.
I think
he had the hoop earring too. He had the Michael Jordan earring.
Yeah. There's a lot of hair. A lot of great earrings in this movie too. A lot of cross earrings with the chain. You know, I think we got to go 4. I'm for it. If you are,
I'm for it.
Okay, let's talk about his hideout and his lair. So this is the question, because is it the Coco Bongo Club?
It is got to be the Coco Bongo Club. That's his. He had an office there. That's his hideout. That's his office of operations.
Even though he was sort of leasing it out from Nico, because Nico was like, "You're running my club into the ground." So
yeah, but it's his. It's his. Like, he's the manager of the club. It's his club.
So what do you think about this? Because it could be a front for money laundering. It could be a front for selling drugs.
Yeah, it's useful as well as stylish.
It's pretty good.
And it's the hottest place in the city.
It is.
So he's got this bumping club that everyone loves, that he's also plotting bank heists and plotting mafia takeovers. I don't know. Like, what's the downside? What is the downside?
Good, isn't it? Like, right? I kind of want to go 4 on this.
How do you go 4? I would lean maybe even towards 5. Like, I'm fine with 4, but like, what's stopping it from being a 5 is my question.
I guess because the cops just easily bust in there whenever they want, and it's like they walk in.
It's no fortress. It's no fortress,
right?
But when it's a public place,
true,
it's kind of hard for it to be some fortress.
Mean,
right?
Hell, he had the mayor hanging out there. Like, are all these guys on the payroll? Like, they didn't go into that. Like, I want to see that part of the movie. Like, what's going on with that?
It had the most beautiful flower, the Coco Bongo Club.
It did.
Too. It did.
Should we do a 5? Is it going to be too much? I don't know.
No, we'll go 4.
Let's go 4. Okay, because the cops busted it up real easily.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now what about his plan? This is where it gets interesting.
So what do you say? So we discussed this off air, that really there's 2 plans, right? So the simple plan is they're going to rob this bank, but the real reason for getting the money is to kick the current mob boss, Nico. Is it Nico?
Nico, yeah.
Kick Nico out and install Dorian as the new mob leader. Is that correct?
They imply it heavily. Like he says something about he wants to take the town over. Like when they were like, hey man, it was when I think the doctor, the tech guy.
Yeah, the tech guy.
Safecracker was.
Which, by the way, isn't that guy like always in some kind of like henchman like group?
That guy from that thing, man.
He's that guy for sure. But no, he had the photo and he like cigar butted out at the guy's eyes, Nico's eyes in the picture.
Which was total power move, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you like that? Because I thought that was kind of badass when he did it.
Yeah. I would follow Dorian. If I had to pick a side and I was in that criminal enterprise, I'd pick Dorian.
By the way, the actor, Reg E. Kathy, I think, R.I.P., died in 2018, unfortunately. His character's name was Freeze, which is a great name.
Oh.
But I loved when he put the cigarette in the eyes and cut the eyes out. That was pretty badass. But you're right. I think he wants to take over as leader and he wants to also steal the money. He offers $50K as like a reward for Stanley, which I thought was kind of weak, to be honest. I think he could have offered a little bit more. He put a hit out on him and it's only 50. I mean,
alive. Yeah.
Especially alive. If you're taking somebody alive, you better offer a lot more money because it's harder.
It's easier. It's easier to bring him dead.
Exactly.
So go back to the Wild West, you get less if you bring him back dead. But
this is where I think he loses some points because I just don't think like his plan is that ambitious. Like he wants to be the mob leader, but like that's pretty.
No, that's very ambitious. But like, I don't understand like the whole bank robbery. Why does the bank robbery equal him becoming mob boss?
I think he just wanted the money, and I think before he became the boss, maybe he just wanted to do it because he's trying to get some on the take. But I don't know.
Do you think it's like to prove himself to himself?
It could have been that, or it could have been
to prove himself to the guys that hey, I can lead. Look at this. I set this bank robbery up,
and he just wanted the money too.
Yeah,
which I think was, it's a villain thing to do. I guess that's why he's a junior, right? He's not Nico. He's no Nico.
And speaking of trying to take over Nico, an iconic scene that always stuck in my mind was that golf ball scene where he swatted the club with the tea in his mouth.
Like he's got that super thick accent.
Yeah.
That and when it bled, like man, I would have probably literally shit my pants in that moment. Like I did that to me.
Make me lose my concentration.
I love that guy. I feel like I wish that Nico was in it more. Honestly, I don't know. What are you thinking for this? Because I don't think it's super strong. In my opinion, I think it's a 2.
Yeah,
I think it's a 2 because I just don't think he executed it very well, and I don't think that it was as ambitious as it was ambitious, but it wasn't like could have been better. Put it that way is what I think. So let's go 2. Okay, now here's where I think we get some real good mileages. The henchman.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't lump this under their look and style because we can kind of put their own look and style in the henchman, but can we just talk about that guy with the ponytail?
Yeah. I mean, just the patch of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Viking haircut, I think, right? Where it's like literally, and by the way, this guy, his IMDb picture, like one of his official pictures is his ponytail hanging in the back.
Yeah. It's his thing. It's his claim to fame. For sure. I mean, even the scraggly haired guy, like that guy had long hair. It was like the dirty blonde dude. There was another guy who kind of like a Bret Hart cut going. There was one dude who kind of had an Ultimate Warrior cut going. There's a lot of wrestler hair going on in this henchman group. And I don't want to be one dimensional, but I feel like I have to. It's like I want to give a high score just based on these guys' hair. I mean, they didn't do much.
No,
but like, what could you do when you're fighting the mask? It's like unfair.
I mean, you're right. Like,
it's like fighting a cartoon character. You're not going to win. What are you going to do?
And the other thing I would say is that you get a lot of these henchmen that are shooting guns a lot of times and they're missing. Dude, they were landing shots. They were actually landing the shots. It just happened to be that he had holes and
let me tell you though, I mean, there was a lot of spray and pray going on there.
There was
a lot of spray and pray coming from those Uzis.
But when you got that kind of gun, like why not, right?
You have to spray and pray.
You just do it. It's part of the drill.
That's what they're good for, shots per round. No, yeah, what do you think? At least a 3.
I think I kind of want to go a 3, maybe a 4, but
it's just each guy was unique. Like no one guy looked generic.
Every guy had their own look.
That's what to me is a good henchman.
Orlando was the dude with the weird ponytail, played by Nils Allen Stewart on IMDb. Check out his thing. If you go to his page, he's got the ponytail. It's like one of his pictures. That's like his hair.
If you have like 5 henchmen and each one looks very unique compared to the other one, like that's being a good henchman. Stand yourself out.
I don't know if the Bret Hart guy you were talking about was the guy with he almost had like Dave Mustaine hair, where it was like the blonde hair.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, no, that's a different guy. Yeah, I was talking about a different guy.
See, like every guy, this is like the perfect 90s henchman guys. And can we talk about, by the way, before we even get off this, can we talk about Nico's hair for a second?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
please explain this to people.
Horseshoe. It's like George Costanza's hair, but a ponytail on the back. Now,
not just a small ponytail. It was like a puffy one,
like the Terry Silver ponytail.
But it was like puffed out, like a dog poodle, like a poodle.
Like I want to imagine, like just take that ponytail out, so you have like the most amazing skullet of all time, to where it's like horseshoe bald with hair down around your shoulders.
It's like a cape.
Now, how I would imagine is say that guy just lets it go. Let that hair go. Imagine that hair like horseshoe bald and then hair like down your back.
Yeah.
I want to see that haircut.
It's like a cape. It's like a hair cape,
yeah.
I guess.
Like, could you have a hair cape? That's what I want.
Kind of what it is.
That's what I want. I want a hair cape.
It's gotta be a hair cape. And I think that's gotta be what it is. But I think Nico's hair, and then also he had a henchman for himself that was like looked like Furio, when Furio from The Sopranos had the ponytail, was like slicked back, but also puffy on the end, like a puffy ponytail. It was really good. So are we going 3 with these guys?
Yeah, we'll go 3 just because they didn't do anything, but they were very stylish, and that counts a lot.
Let's recap it for people. So we got 4 for look and style, 4 for hideout and lair, 2 for plan, and 3 for henchman, and that gives us a 13 out of 20 here.
Very respectable.
Not bad. Let me go to our spreadsheet. Let's see where he is. He's right around like the strut territory, the penguin, Volcano from Dante's Peak at 13. All these guys at 13s. Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat with a 13. Right above him is M. Bison with a 14.5. We got Catherine Trammell with a 15. So he's in the top third for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely respectable. Yeah, and deservedly so. I thought he was a great villain. I was very much interested in every scene he was in, which it says a lot for a movie with Jim Carrey, who just steals every scene that he's in, to hold someone's interest in the scenes that he's not in. Good work, Peter.
I don't know if we should have subtracted a point from Dorian because he died in a toilet flush, which he may or may not have died.
Very embarrassing.
I don't
very
know.
Embarrassing. I don't know if he's dead. He might just be down there, and they got to fish him out.
Like, what is with the mask powers? Like, is that real? Like, I don't get it. Like, did he die? Is he in the sewer? Like, where is he right now?
Yeah. I don't fully understand mask powers in that regard.
We probably should have spent time.
Yeah, if he injures, we got time right now. If he injures you in a comic booky way, do you die? Like, I don't know. Like when he made the balloon animal and he turned it into the Tommy gun, is that a real Tommy gun? If he would have shot somebody, would they have died? Is it all like figment of the imagination type things? Is it like a mind bleep scenario?
It's interesting because I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think because like when he had the holes in him, like he obviously wasn't shot himself. So maybe he's in a time warp, like you said. I don't know.
But when Dorian, took the shots from Nico and spit them back out at Nico died.
True.
From that, I don't think getting flushed down a metaphorical drain equals death outright. I think he's alive down there.
It's been a while since we did a callback to the villains wiki, but I had to check to see if he was deceased according to this, and it's not. But what I will have to say is they gave him some pretty good props out on here. So his hobby is running his criminal empire and ousting his enemies, and his goals were to, quote, obtain the mask of Loki, temporarily succeeded, kill Nico, succeeded, kill Stanley Ipkiss, have Tina for himself, take over Edge City, all failed.
I don't think he wanted Tina. He was ready to blow her up.
They listed him as a treacherous crime lord, by the way, which
True.
I don't know. I would maybe take a little bit of issue with it, but it doesn't say he was deceased, so maybe he's still alive. If it's not on the wiki, then maybe he's still alive.
I think he's just inconvenienced greatly. I think he's like down a hole. And
Here you go.
They have to fish him out.
Here's the actual quote. It says, "It is unknown if Dorian survived into the sewers or not, but it's possible that he either survived while in the sewers or was killed off screen by his penknife. Regardless of that, Mayor Tilton dismisses Calloway's claims and Ipkiss's responsibility and determines that Dorian was the mask the whole time, exonerating Ipkiss from being arrested." So he took the fall. He's the fall guy.
Yeah, the fall guy. So, like, how far does the gag work?
I don't know.
All he did was draw a flusher. And all of a sudden, that pond turned into, a swirling drain. Now, does the drawing of the flusher then create an entire sewer system underneath the floor?
Yeah.
Like, how far does the gag/weapon go?
I guess until it goes to the end of whatever the gag was. So could he draw muscles on himself? I mean, like, I don't. Man, we really missed the boat on this. We could have really debated the powers here, but I'm curious about how this all works.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's alive. I don't think there's a sewer system underneath the Coco Bongo Club now that has that big of a thing that connects to that drain that didn't exist previously. I just think it sucked him down into a hole, much like he fell down a well.
But maybe like when the mask comes off, the thing disappears and then he dies because there's nothing else for him to be a part of.
It gets enclosed into nothing. Like the concrete reforms. Yeah.
Yeah, he went into nothing. Or he was in a pipe that was big enough to fit him. Yeah. And then when the mask came off, the pipe shrunk back to a small pipe and it crushed him.
Just for my own personal satisfaction, I would have loved it if they just showed freaking Dorian with like he's just all wet and in cuffs, and they're leading him on. Yeah. So that's
Or maybe he's floating in the Edge City, like the river at the end there, face down.
Yeah, give me something.
Get some closure.
Dead or alive, give me something. Don't make me think about this, because I'll think about this.
I want to know what you guys think.
What do you guys
think?
Write
in thelastrow.podcast.com, thelastrow@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the page and let us know, is Dorian alive? Is he dead? Or is he floating in the Edge City River somewhere? I have to know. Is there anything that you want to say about this movie? Because I think we did it justice as best as we could in an hour here. But
let's get the hell out of here. Let's do this.
Before we leave, we did get an email last week on our website. We got to give a shout out to Rajiv. He says, "Love the podcast and the breakdown. I think a great one to do would be Labyrinth. I thought it was an amazing movie and always have considered it a cult classic. I think it would flow very well with your type of podcast. Keep up the great work." Have you ever seen Labyrinth, Badway? Because I haven't.
No, I've never seen it.
I don't know if that's blasphemous, but I've never actually seen this movie. I know of it, and I've seen many scenes of it, but I've never actually watched it. Maybe that would be a fun one to do.
We all can't see every movie, Drew. Yeah, we all can't see every movie. But I would consider it for an episode. Why not?
Yeah. Thank you for writing in. And if you guys want to, we gave you the deets. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, July 21st. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And on the note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
See?
Woo. So, if Dorian got bigger, his muscles got bigger, do you think that the size had to shrink somewhere else?
Yeah, like the compensation of it.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to blow something up, there's only so much, space. I don't know.
Sure. You gotta take.
Right. So let me